Experimentation, the investigation of the causal relationships among variables, or the testing of a hypothesis. A classical example of an experiment is the Michelson-Morley experiment, performed in 1887 by Albert Michelson and Edward Morley. It involves splitting a beam of light in two and sending it in two directions to measure by interference the difference in the transition time of the two beams. It was considered the first strong evidence against the theory of luminiferous ether, and it helped lead the way to the development of special relativity. Here is a simple experiment that anyone can do. Take some dirt, preferably from more than one place, put it into water, and stir it up. It then settles out into layers as you watch. This is sedimentation in action. Controlled experimentation embodies the ideal of science. This is where the scientific method is at its best. This is also where scientific repeatability is at its best. Now, experimentation is not without its difficulties. This is because not all areas of scientific study lend themselves to experiments. In fact, most real-world observations are beyond the possibility of a controlled experiment. This is often due to things like distance, size, and time. In many cases, experiments can only be used to test the possibility of a hypothesis. This is sometimes done in historical science, trying to replicate a past event to show that it could have happened. The ideal experiment should reduce the number of variables to one. It should be easily repeated by other scientists. This increases the likelihood that some will try to repeat it, and it makes it more likely that the attempt to repeat it will succeed. It should also be limited in complexity and cost. This also increases the likelihood that someone will try to repeat it and makes it more likely that the attempt to repeat it will succeed.